All right, y'all, since so many of you hated the shelves that I put in between my studs, we're gonna just undo the work. That way my house doesn't magically catch on fire from a shelf being inside the studs. I mean, come on, some people are ridiculous. Anyways, this video is actually about showing y'all how I did this and answering some of your questions. Here you see me hitting the wall with a hammer. That was just for dramatic effect. I had used my stud finder, so I knew exactly where the stud was. And it happened to be right in the middle. I used my level to draw on the wall straight lines up and down about how big I wanted it. And then here I'm using my oscillating tool to cut the drywall. That hammer hole actually made a great handle. Right here, I'm using my circular saw to try to get the stud out, and it didn't go deep enough, so I had to use my oscillating tool to remove it. And then I reframed it, and for everybody who's so concerned that this was a load-bearing wall, it is not. But I did reframe it so that way I added more support from what I took off. And the reason there's no insulation is because this is an interior wall, not an exterior. And then I am using my circular saw to rip down some plywood to build a shelf out of. This is 1/2 inch right here. And yes, I was in shorts and sandals because it was hot as shit outside. It's Texas and it's over 100 degrees. So as I said here, the outside of the shelving is 1/2 inch and the inside of the shelves are 3/4 of an inch because I do plan on adding some canned goods and I wanted to make sure that it was sturdy. And on the back right here, I was adding pole wrap and look, it's a perfect fit. I'm telling you, measure like 5 times and then cut once. And for all the men on my last video that were so concerned that I wasn't adding trim who didn't watch till the end of the video, I did add trim, don't worry. I am going to finish it out. And for everybody who's concerned that there won't be paint, there will be paint. I'm not going to spend all of this time building this pretty shelving into my wall and then not finishing it out. But before I can paint, I got to caulk and wood fill the nail holes that I put in there. The frame of this is just 1x3 primed pine that I'm using, and I'm just nailing it into place. No glue's needed. And for anyone concerned that I'm only using nails to hold the shelf into place, I did nail those into the studs. No, screws are not required. I promise it's not going to sag over time. This thing is like 15, 16 inches wide. It will be fine. Now, a lot of the questions that I got in the comments last time I shared this part was the light switch. No, I'm not going to electrocute myself. My stud finder does show the electrical wires and where the wiring is in the wall. So here I knew that the wiring went up and not down. I'll add the link to the stud finder and electric finder in the description for you. And the reason those shelves are sticking out right there is because I was adding trim to make it flush. And the reason I didn't caulk it yet is because I'm also adding shiplap. I'm going to caulk it after all that's done. Are you ready to tackle this project on your own? Any other questions? And also, for everybody that's concerned about trim or edge banding, check this out. I used this new trim that I've never used before for the front of these shelves to cover up that plywood edge. And it actually turned out a lot prettier than I thought it would. I wasn't sure because I've never used this trim before. Next up, caulk, wood filler, and paint.